Hola gente, ¿cómo andan? Mi nombre es Matías Sandoval, soy MS9 para aquellos que no me conocen y estamos en un nuevo capítulo de mi podcast, aquella primera temporada que hice que ya quedó algo vieja, pero la tenía en otro canal, la voy a subir a este canal para hacer una nueva temporada ya en mi canal, al cual les invito a suscribirse si les interesan los deportes, pero también hablamos de otras cosas. En esta entrevista que fue en inglés, tuve el placer de hablar con Andy Cropper, que es un profesor de inglés, fanático del Liverpool, fanático del fútbol en general. El año pasado vino a la cancha de Boca a ver Boca River, así que hablamos de todo un poco. En la entrevista confiesa que su sueño era conocer la Bombonera, por suerte ya lo pudo hacer, pueden ver el video que hicimos también aquí, así que espero que disfruten de la conversación. No olvides de suscribirte si no lo hiciste, ahí vamos. Hi Andy, it's a pleasure. How are you?
Hi Matthias, I'm great. Great to see you. It's very hot in London. It's a very unusual time because it's warm and I'm sweating. I apologize.
Yeah. Nice to see you too. Okay, explain to the people that we couldn't meet in front in London, but now it's in the Zoom and it's very well. To begin, tell us, because you are from Liverpool, how do you feel about moving to London and why did you move?
Well, first of all, I moved a long time ago now, maybe nearly 30 years ago. And I moved because of the job. I was working in Merseyside. I had a job. And like most people at that time from the north of England, they had to move to probably the south, but mainly to London to try and find a better job. Still the same today, actually. So I've been down here a long time. But I miss home, of course. You know, you miss your family, your friends, the culture, the football, the music. So everything that around you miss. But it's okay. It's not so far away on the train or to drive, so it's okay to go home. You know.
Yeah, of course. And how would you explain what Liverpool means? Because I've been in there, and for me, it's very beautiful with very friendly people. And in addition, you have Matthew Street, Anfield, and a lot of places for enjoy. And how will you explain what Liverpool means?
Well, I'm first of all, I'm very happy that when you talked about places being happy to be happy in Liverpool, you never said Goodison Park, because at Everton they're never happy. And so this is great news, and long may that continue, because they are a terrible team. But they've got Benitez now, so that may help you. But to be happy in Liverpool is very easy, because, like you said, people are friendly, always prepared to chat and talk about things, and they're very open. We're quite different to people in London, to be honest. And Liverpool has become recently a hot city to go to for many people to have a great weekend. Very, very action-packed. So in the UK, we call them hen parties or stag do's, like a bachelor party. That type of thing. And lots of people go there to go crazy, basically, because it's a party town. Not so much recently because of the COVID, of course, but generally it's a party town.
And the Albert Dock is very beautiful.
Yeah, very amazing. Piece of history. Liverpool is a very historical city. Although today the city had some bad news and lost its World Heritage status. But hopefully that can be appealed and overturned. But it's an amazing city. The history there is phenomenal. And, you know, maybe not equal to London, but very, very much one of the leading cities in the UK for history. And music, of course, is fantastic. Many bands through the years, of course, people will talk about the Mersey Beat and those bands, and the Beatles, of course.
Yeah.
But beyond those guys came a whole host of music. And still to this day, there's new bands coming out of Liverpool.
Yeah, you know that isn't a common place for visit, that the people that Argentina or South America came to England and visit London and maybe Oxford, Cambridge, but never Liverpool. But I recommend it because it's a very beautiful, and I think that you recommend the people come to Liverpool.
Yeah, if you know, I know I've never been to Argentina. It's my dream to go there actually one day. But I know that the people in Latin America are passionate about football. Crazy, even more than Europeans, I think, these days. But if they come to Liverpool, particularly, they will have a great time. Particularly if there's a football match on. Even if they don't get to the stadium, they can watch it in the bars and enjoy the atmosphere before and after the game. It's a big thing, really big thing. And yeah, there are bigger cities and maybe more beautiful cities, shall we say, than Liverpool. But for the overall experience of history, culture, warmth, not the temperature, but personal warmth, definitely recommend it.
Well, one of the things, because I call you, it's to talk about football, because you are, like me, are a football fan, and also you are a Liverpool supporter. What is the first memory you have as a Liverpool fan?
It's a great question. So the first memory is that I went to Liverpool in the 1970s with my dad and my uncle, and we couldn't get in because it was full. These were the days before tickets. You used to be able to go to the ground, any ground in the UK, and just pay on the day. But usually had to get there a little bit earlier. We arrived late. We couldn't get in. So that was my first ever memory of Anfield. But then a very vivid memory for me is the 1977 European Cup final. I must have only been about 9 years of age, but it was a huge thing in the city and the country, actually. And I had my Liverpool posters in my bedroom window, and I remember I hung some socks onto my window as well, like red and white Liverpool socks. But the one thing that I remember clearly about the game is Terry McDermott's goal, and it was a phenomenal goal looking back at it now. But I remember this black and white ball, which was a continental style ball at the time, different to traditional British footballs, and he hit it and it went into the back of the net, and it was rotating like almost on an axis. And it was amazing to see this like continental ball, and just a ball. Look at this ball spinning around. I don't know why. I suppose I remember that more than the goal itself, but it was, for some reason I do. But it was an amazing memory. And of course, then the game, and I can't say I remember much of the game from my the actual day I watched it, but of course I've seen it before. I've seen it since then.
Nice. It's incredible. And yes, you have Anfield, 6 Champions League, 19 leagues, including Premier League and the First Division. Have a very good players, a great coach, one of my favorite coach, that is Jurgen Klopp, and a lot of history. For you, Liverpool is the best in Europe.
Oh yeah, beg your pardon. Yeah, Liverpool are definitely the best in Europe. They've got a culture of European football. I remember as a kid reading about Liverpool in the 60s when Bill Shankly took them to Reykjavik and having finals that we lost on the flick of a coin, and seeing this change of kits to all red through the years.
Yeah.
And there's a very famous game for Liverpool fans we played Inter Milan and in the European Cup semi-final in the 60s, 65, and we were cheated basically. So that was a great experience for Liverpool Football Club, but it embedded a mentality into the club that I think is still there today. And Liverpool know like Madrid, they know how to win in Europe. The Italian national team, they know how to win. That's why they beat England in the Championship.
Yeah, of course. Before you told me about you were in a lot of important sporting events. Could you name me a few?
Yeah. Well, the most recent event was the England versus Denmark semi-final in the Euro 2020. That was a big event and a big result for England fans because we got to the final. I didn't go to the final, but to go to the semi was great. Before that, most of my finals are all about Liverpool, as you might imagine, although I've seen a few others. But Liverpool, the big one, I suppose, the big 2 seasons would be when Liverpool, Gerard Houllier was the manager and we won the treble. I was lucky to be at all those finals. So that was amazing to see 3 cup finals and we won all 3. And it was an amazing season and we qualified for the Champions League at the end. We didn't really build on that the following season, but okay. And then to go to Istanbul, the impossible final, was amazing. And honestly, I thought 3-0. You know, if there were this stadium, the Ataturk Stadium was in the middle of nowhere. If it was in a town centre, city centre, I think me and my mates who we went with, we would have left at half-time because we thought this was going to be an embarrassment, potentially.
Yeah.
But luckily we didn't, and we couldn't. And we thought, well, you know, we're here, we're going to watch the match, of course. And phenomenal situation, you know. It's like one of the most incredible games. It didn't seem real, but when it sinks in, you know, not only are you the European champions, but the way you have fought back 3-0 down against AC Milan was incredible.
Yeah.
And that team is you look at the lineup of that team compared to the players. How we came back is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of, if not the best Champions League final, then one of.
Yeah. With Dudek and Rafa Benitez, Xabi Alonso, but a great Milan.
For sure, it was. You know, they're a very intense team, and they had their revenge a couple of years later in Athens. So okay.
Yeah. And did you see Argentina and Brazil in USA?
Yeah. That's right. I lived in New York for a little while. So as you probably know, Matt, a lot of teams pass through New York because it's well, let's face it, it's for the money. So I saw many games over there. I saw Inter Milan playing a Latin American team, but I cannot remember who it was now. I saw Brazil versus Argentina in the New York Jets Stadium. Liverpool versus Manchester City. Other clubs and teams passing through. Some international matches as well. So that was a great experience to go and see international football in a different country. The Brazil-Argentina game was a friendly, but it's still, there's, you know, is there ever a friendly between those two teams? I don't know. But it was a great to go and see it, you know, and see the teams and see the Liverpool players in the Brazil team was great.
Yeah, of course. But in the history, a lot of Argentina, Mascherano, Maxi Rodriguez play.
Yeah, Mascherano was great. I used to love Mascherano. He was a real tough nut.
Yeah, was a very good player. Now, let me talk about England, the Three Lion national team. Why do you think that lost the final? And what is your opinion about Southgate? That is maybe, for me, is a good coach, but for a lot of people in England, I don't know, don't like. And why?
Well, I think with any team getting to a final, you need a little bit of luck. And maybe we had that in the semi-final against Denmark when Sterling fell over. No way was that a penalty, but okay, we got the penalty and 2 balls on the pitch. But you need the luck, and Italy had their luck too, I'm sure, on the way to the final. But I was surprised that England got to the final. We played well, and we deserved to be there. To concede 0 goals until the semi was what champions do. So that was great. I think we came up short because of lack of experience. And you could say that the Italian team didn't have that perhaps international experience or even club experience with their players. But as I mentioned earlier, the Italian psyche in world football, European competition, they know what it takes to get to these finals. They understand the process. They understand how to win. And they are a bit cynical, and they used every trick in the book to win. But okay, Chiellini challenged Saka, nearly took his head off, pulling him backwards. But nothing happened because he knew he could do this. But Southgate has done a great job. I think he is very professional, very calm. In England, we go crazy. We think we are the best football team in the world because we are. It is the mother of football in England, although some people might dispute that. But we have to accept it is right now. We've never had a good team for a long time, or no good manager. Many good players, but never been able to have a good team. And he's got some great players now. Really good team, good players from all the clubs around the country. Not just the traditional clubs like Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. He takes the best players for the right reasons, and he did a great job. But I think we just lacked a little bit of a winning mentality. And I know I'm a Liverpool fan, but if we had a fit Jordan Henderson and maybe an even fitter Harry Kane, that would have been a big difference. We had Sterling in there. It was a fantastic players. The Man City players, without those players in the England team, we would have really struggled. but they know how to win. They're winners now themselves.
Yeah.
You know, there we go. It's one of those things. So we have to hope for better luck in Qatar.
Yeah. In Russia was good, so maybe now.
Next step. So
Yeah.
semi final. Let's hope so. The winners. Let's see.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even think about that.
Speak about the national team. Do you remember the famous Argentina-England in '86? 4 years later that the war, and with the hand of God, the Maradona goals. You remember how was it?
Well, I remember it. I mean, I was a young boy then, and of course, like a lot of young boys, they love soccer, football in England as well as in Argentina. And to be honest with you, the Las Malvinas, the Falklands, we didn't know what it was. So young kids, we didn't know what this was about, and we just thought that there was some war a long way away, and okay, England will win because we were English, and we just didn't understand what this was about. As a young kid, you don't know really. Of course, later you learn what happened and how terrible this whole situation was. And you know, politicians make these decisions, not people who love football. You know, I'm the same as a guy in Buenos Aires or any other city in Argentina. You know, and I'm sure we'd get on fine. No, I don't care about the Falklands. Doesn't belong to us. I don't know who it belongs to, but it's not something we should be killing people for. But yeah, of course, the football, when we were drawn together, 86-90, it was like, wow, an incredible situation. And everybody was saying it was like a war again, England against Argentina. And of course, Argentina, that you won. Okay, the hand of God goal beat us. But, the goal that Maradona, the other goal that Maradona scored was, one of the best World Cup goals ever. That guy. A small, stout guy, a squat guy, centre of gravity was incredible. He just sailed through the England midfield all the way down and just cut us open like filleting a fish. He was a phenomenal.
Yeah.
People talk about this hand, but Argentina were better.
Yeah.
But it was sad. We had a good team. We had a good players there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this goal is the best goal is in Argentina. It's more remembered that the hand of God, because it's the best goal in the history for us. And you have a very good defenders like Terry Butcher, Terry Fenwick, Peter Shilton, the goalkeeper. So for us, it's very important. Yes. Do you know also a little about South American football? What players do you like in South America, and what teams do you like if you like a team?
Yeah, I cannot profess to be an expert on Latin American football, but just a quick story before I answer your question is when I love, when I was a kid, I used to collect the Panini stickers, the football stickers of World Cup and the English League. And I went to Colombia 2 years ago, and I bought a Panini sticker book for Latin American, the internationals. It was the Copa America, and I bought maybe, I don't know, 20 stickers because I just thought, this will be a good memory, a nice memory. I bought this in Colombia. Anyway, then I saw some guy approach me in the street, and he said, you collect these stickers, right? I said, I'm just buying, I'm just looking. He said, no, come with me. So we went outside, and then he had this table, and then he brought out hundreds of Panini stickers. So he collected, I should say, every sticker for every team. I was missing only one at the end, and I'm thinking he was going to give me maybe 10 or 20 stickers. And then then he's counting like 30, 50, 100, 150. And I'm saying, wow. Surely he's not going to give these to me for free. And then he handed them over to me, and then he said, "That's $35, please."
Nice.
So I said, "Okay, no problem." So I thought I had no choice. I was in Colombia, so I had to. It was only $35, so I paid him anyway. But I thought, big discount. But it was amazing. I think it was maybe $50 actually, but it was worth it just for the experience, because then a load of guys gathered around and started saying, what's happening? And everybody was looking. So I went through Brazil, number 6, Argentina, 21. It was like, wow. Everybody was looking at these stickers, giving them to me. So it was a great memory. But Latin American football, of course, internationals, very familiar with all the teams. My first memory is of Argentina World Cup '78, with all the ticker tape coming down from the stadiums. This was an amazing scene back in England to see. And I cannot remember his name, but Peru beat Scotland 3-1, and Cubillas, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He scored a great goal against Scotland, and it was
Cubillas. Yes, Cubillas.
Yeah. He had this white stripe, a white shirt, and a red band across down.
Yeah.
And the kit was like, wow, look at this kit. And even with the Scotland kit, I loved that Scotland kit. And it was amazing to see this. And the goal was like, he thumped it. And then Zico scored a great goal against Scotland. No England, this is why we were watching Scotland, of course. But Argentina went all the way. So internationally, I'm, of course, very familiar with the international setup. With regards to the teams, if the most famous teams, of course, in Argentina would be Boca Juniors or maybe River Plate. But sometimes we take players from other teams and we're familiar with other teams. In Uruguay, Montevideo teams, and Brazil, Santos, beg your pardon.
Yeah, of course.
Big teams. And I know there's a club somewhere, I think it's in Paraguay, they're called Everton. They're named after the Everton football team, I understand. So they must be terrible, but still.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's great down there. I'd love to get there.
Yeah, of course. I will change the topic and speak about music because Liverpool is very important in the world music. And do you like the Beatles? What do you think about them? For me, they are the best band in the history. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad used to love records and play vinyl music, and he had part of his collection were the Beatles. So I was kind of brought up on the Beatles, and amongst a few other bands in particular. Bob Dylan, he used to love Genesis, which was Pink Floyd. But the Beatles were the predominant record played in our house, or records. So I used to know all the words, and I still do love the albums, particularly the White Album. That was my favourite for some reason. I used to love the pictures inside, the 4 pictures of the Beatles. That was great. And so, I agree, they're probably the most influential, important band in popular music in the world. They've just done so much to influence, and they still influence today. It's incredible. 50 years after they broke up, they still have such a powerful impact today.
Yeah. I visit Liverpool recently. And for me, it's incredible, the place, the Penny Lane, the Strawberry Fields, John Lennon house, the Paul McCartney house. It's magic.
Yeah, to go and see these places where they lived and where they used to hang out around the town centre. There's bars in Liverpool, I can't remember the name of what the bar, Matthew Street, where there's a picture of them sat in the corner, and you can still see the same seat and the wallpapers behind, and the grapes, I think it is. Other places. And my mum, she saw the Beatles when she was a kid. The Grapes was a Lennon. John Lennon,
the Grapes and the
Cavern Club, of course, but other places around where they used to hang out,
Yeah, for me, it's incredible. The Beatles history and the Liverpool history with the Beatles, it's incredible. And have you ever seen Paul McCartney in live, or?
Yeah, I saw him a long time ago in London at a concert, and then I saw him in New York actually playing a show at the Jet Stadium in Jersey. So that was great, an amazing experience to see him, and see him twice, and he plays the Beatles tunes, of course. But he has an office in London. It's Soho Square, and you can walk by there. I've never seen him, but you just think, wow, that's his office, or Abbey Road, where they are, where they did recording sessions. So to go around, so many places around, with Liverpool particularly, of course, amazing.
Which is your favorite Beatles? The 4.
Oh, who is the favorite Beatle? Oh, that's a good question. Well, I suppose ultimately I'd say John Lennon. but I respect them all. I mean, George Harrison was a great songwriter, and some of the things he did as a solo artist were totally amazing. Paul McCartney he's still going. He's incredible, and wow, what a guy. Ringo,
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
And John Lennon, he went on a trip and did his thing and influenced many people. Very powerful character. So that was great to have lived the life he did, and he, tragic ending, but kind of made it more special in a way. His life, that is, more valuable, I should say. Not that he was murdered, of course, but we kind of cherish the years he was around more. In respect to the way he was taken, terrible way.
Yeah, of course, and in New York had a lot of things about John Lennon.
Yeah, Strawberry Fields and his house, the Dakota on 72nd. Yeah, it was interesting to see that. I saw Yoko as well once in London. I went to see Sean Lennon play a gig in London, and Yoko was there, and she was stood right in front of me, this tiny little lady. And I thought, wow, it's Yoko Ono. It was incredible.
Yeah. and the history that You Never Walk Alone, how us starting or.
Well, I don't. So the answer to the question is no, I don't. It's a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical song from a musical called Carousel, and why it was adopted, I don't know, and when it was adopted, I don't know. But it's been taken up by the Liverpool fans or the club as the official anthem, if you like, and it's part and parcel of Liverpool Football Club now. Other clubs sing it too, in Germany, Leverkusen, even Glasgow Celtic, they sing it, maybe some other clubs too, but it's synonymous with Liverpool.
Yeah, of course. A nice song. And yes, to finish, I always do what we call a ping pong of short question and answers. Yes, there are 5 questions for you. Which is the best Liverpool player today?
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk, yes. Now he's injured, but...
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. Hopefully this season he'll be ready, but maybe not the first couple of games. Let's see, but he's definitely coming back.
Yeah, and in the history, which is the best?
Kenny Dalglish.
Kenny Dalglish, yes.
This is maybe an age. People say Gerrard, and he's a great player, of course, or he was a great player, but maybe it's an age thing. For me, Dalglish, he was my king when I was growing up. He was everything.
And after coach?
He was a great coach, yeah, great coach. Yeah. He did amazing, and he went to Blackburn and won the Premier League with Blackburn. He was a great guy and amazing coach, underrated actually.
Yeah, and what is the best English player in the history?
Good question. I don't know. It's a very subjective one. Some of the strikers down the years, amazing. But maybe, a very personal kind of choice, I suppose. I used to love Ray Clements as a kid. Thought he was a great goalkeeper for Liverpool and England. Used to vie with Shilton. So right off the top of my head, I would say he was for very personal reasons. And I was lucky. I met him once and had a good time with him in a bar in Sweden. It was pretty amazing. Just talked to him, and he told us all about his stories at Liverpool and with England. It was like, wow, it was mind blowing.
Nice. A city in the world that you like outside to England, or your favorite city?
Yeah, well, I'm lucky. I've been to a few places, but Tokyo was amazing. I went to Tokyo, and it was like amazing place, quite incredible. The scale of the city and the way that it's been managed and designed, and so clean and easy to navigate and friendly, and so much activity and culture. It takes a lot of understanding. I've got nowhere near it, of course, but Tokyo was a great place, and the food, amazing.
Nice. And the last one is a stadium in the world other than Anfield.
Well, there's only one stadium in the world that I've never been to that I really want to go to, and I'm going to embarrass myself with my Spanish, but it's the Boca Juniors Stadium, Bombaras.
Yeah, La Bombonera.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that is the one place to go.
Nice. And the other that you ever been?
I've been to stadiums in Europe. I think the Olympic Stadium in Rome was amazing. I went there. That was a great one. But anywhere else I would want to go to? I've never been to Bayern Munich or the San Siro, so I would like to go to those two stadiums if possible in Europe, which are easier than getting to Argentina, especially now. But my dream is to go down to BA, Buenos Aires, and see a game down there, or at least a couple of games, you know.
Yeah, of course. Liverpool won a Champions League against Real Madrid in the Olympic Stadium in Rome.
For sure, yeah. And in Paris we won against Real Madrid. Alan Kennedy.
Yeah.
We beat Roma in Rome in 77. Yeah. No, that was by Borussia Mönchengladbach. I beg your pardon. And then we beat Rome again in '84.
Yeah. I remember in penalties.
On penalties, yeah. So big games for Alan Kennedy there, but great days for the club. You know, Bruce Grobbelaar in '84, which was with his jelly legs or spaghetti legs.
Yeah. Okay. Andy, it was a pleasure. Have you listened podcast?
I do listen to podcasts, yeah. I've got to be honest, I've not listened to your podcast before, but you're going to send me the link and then I can become your number one fan. But podcasts are really interesting.
Oh, okay. And what podcast do you recommend that the people maybe will learn English, or a podcast in English that do you like?
Yeah, well, I like to listen to sporting podcasts. There's one of a name that I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I'll send you a message with the detail. Maybe you will add it onto the link. That's a really great website for football fans. Podcast for football fans. But there's one that if you listen to BBC Radio, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of podcasts on there for all different levels, talking about all different subjects. There's one at the moment I'm listening to in particular by a guy in the UK called Louis Theroux, and he interviews various people in the UK. I don't think they're internationally known, but definitely famous in the UK. And they're interesting discussions. They're not just your typical boring kind of question and answer sessions. So that's good. I'd recommend that.
Okay, Andy. See you.
Take care, man. Gracias. Muchas gracias.